prides itself on being known as Incredible India in its well-rehearsed image portrayed to the world's biggest democracy. Well, please do tell me what's so incredible about killing thousands and thousands of people, Indian citizens, simply because they practice a different religion. They are in fact a minority people in their own country. The Indian government are inhumane and have been carrying out miscarriages of justice for decades in its short 65-year history. People such as Muslims and Sikhs, who are considered minorities in the Western world, surprisingly are deemed as minorities in India, where the majority peoples are Hindus. On June 1st, 1984, India's Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ordered the Indian Army to invade the Golden Temple complex in Amritsar, the Sikhs' national institution. Up to 150,000 Indian Army troops were sent to the northern Indian state of Punjab, the Sikh homeland, equipped with helicopter, gunships and tanks to totally finish off the Sikh community as people. As a result of this, over 5,000 Sikh men, women and children were murdered in cold blood in the space of 6 days. Is this what religion teaches us to do to others? Even animals would not do this to each other. We are supposed to be the more intelligent beings in the world. On 31st October 1984, the Indian Prime Minister, Mrs. Gandhi, was assassinated by her own 2 Sikh bodyguards in revenge for the mass destruction of the Golden Temple. What followed begged belief. Over 10,000 innocent Sikhs were massacred in the most barbaric method of burning. Encouraged by central government ministers and members of parliament, with the help of police, Hindu mobs were assembled to carry out a 3-day orgy of killings and plunder in India's capital city, New Delhi. Here are some of the horrific events that took place in 1984. The Indian government have abused the innocence of Sikhs. They do not follow their own laws. In 1984, the Indian government used all the powers at their disposal to finish the Sikh community. 29 years this week, and not even one police officer has ever been convicted of this inhumane crime. Anyone that speaks up, as we should all have that basic right to freedom of speech, is put in jail or killed in many cases. In India, the death penalty has not been abolished. Many Sikhs are currently being put on death row because they stood up against the injustice happening to them. But tell me, if thousands and thousands of your people have unequally been killed just because they followed a certain faith, would you stay quiet? Every human being should have that right to follow and practice their beliefs. Sadly, the Indian government has and is still trying today to take this precious right away from the Sikh community. However, also remembering the Indian government hasn't just tried to demolish the Sikh community, but also other minorities, like the Muslim community. In the past, there have been many cases where the Indian government, the world's so-called largest democracy, have gone against its own people, the Indian citizens. For example, in the 2002 Gujarat riots, many Muslims were brutally murdered in front of law enforcement agencies by so-called patriotic government-led mobs. Other minorities, such as Christians and Dalits, who are considered low-caste people by the Indian society, have also been unfortunate enough to feel the force of the Indian authorities for no other reason but being a minority in the so-called great land of democracy, India. These are some pictures that show the events in Gujarat riots 2002. Sadly, India is not the only major nation in the world that deals with its own citizens in such an inhumane way. However, we as the future must stop this discrimination against minorities, irrespective of which country they live, in which country or which faith they follow, if we want to live in a better, fairer world than today. Remembering God across all religions teaches us to love, not hate one another, because we all have the same light of God in all of us.